it's funny. I got my start in entertainment industry, actually in doing modeling. Okay, years ago, we won't say how many, but years ago, I actually did some modeling. I am an Army brat, so I was very fortunate to travel the country and really the world. I lived in Germany for 11 years when I started my career as a model in Germany. And so that really gave me like the taste. I was, I was young, I was in my teens, I was like, oh, and very exciting. And it was print, and I did a lot of work in Germany, and it was uniquely fun, but yet it was truly work. And because I was in the military, we also had a lot more restrictions on, what I could do in getting out into the German market and all this kind of stuff. Things were a little bit different then. But I was working a lot. There was a lot of work, and I was just really excited. Literally when I turned 19, I actually bought my first Mercedes. So I was like, and it was really cool. I had a great time. And then, life happens, and, things started to change a little bit, and then we moved around, and then when we came back to the United States, I kind of stepped out of the business for a little bit, not sure why, but I just started getting into, I went to college and, doing all those things and tried to, kind of fit into the regular life, but I missed the entertainment business. And I think when you're in entertainment, and this is what I just want to tell like everybody, seriously, if you're in entertainment and you really love what you're doing, being in that environment, in the entertainment environment, is it's intoxicating, truly. And you forget, what time it is. I was on a set. When I came back to the States, I started doing more acting instead of the print stuff. Someone had actually approached me about doing some acting, and I was like, oh, I hadn't had any lessons or whatever. So then I started, actually training and getting serious about it. And I booked my first commercial, so I thought, oh, this might be good. And then I started to get actually some notice, and I was like, oh, maybe I can do this. So I continued training. I always believed in if you're gonna do it, really do it properly, and get yourself around the people who can help you, and then to know in your heart that this is where you want to be. So I was on a set, and trust me, and I was still working in my career, and so I was on a set, and I was doing some work on, I was actually going in, we were there, let me see, my call time was like 12 noon, and we got done like at 4 o'clock in the morning. And I had to drive an hour to get back to my house and then go to my regular job after that. So it was so funny. My mom was saying, why are you doing this to yourself? Are you insane? And I was like, you know what? I was on the set that whole time. I swear I didn't feel like, what time is it? When are we going to eat? Or I have to go to the bathroom. I swear I can't even think of any of those things because I was so in my environment that nothing mattered. I was just intoxicated with entertainment and where I was and the people I was coming in contact with, and and just being there was amazing. So I knew entertainment bug was in me. I remembered, even when I was doing print work, I was like, okay, that was so cool. But this was like a whole new thing, but I missed it. And I said, oh, I want to do this. So then I started doing more acting. Not really sure how the crossover became, but I ran into someone else in the whole director's world, and they said, you have such a great voice. Have you ever thought of voiceovers? And and I really had thought of voiceovers before, but I didn't really know a lot about it, and wasn't really. And the next thing you knew, I was in a voiceover class, and then before the class ended, I actually booked my first job. And it was like, another amazing, like, yay, I can do this too. And I almost, right now, sometimes, I was like, you've done, you did the print work thing, and then you start doing acting, and then, you're doing the voice work. I'm still doing voice work. That is actually my ultimate love, if I can say there's one. Don't get me wrong, if I book a job, I'm very excited. But I actually have, now I have contract work where I don't even have to audition for that anymore. And I just can work. And again, I get into a studio and I'm just at peace with like, oh, this is where I'm supposed to be. This is what I'm supposed to do. And I get to work with other people who are that passionate about it. And I think in this business, in entertainment, you have to be passionate about it because there's so much, there's a lot of negativity and rejection. You know, you don't look this, or you're not this enough, or you're not that enough. And you have to, if I can say anything, my foundation, my core, my parents instilled in me that, for me, God made me how I am, and I am who I am. And I just tell everybody, try not to model yourself after anybody, be the 100% best you that there is. And that's really for me, and that's what my audience says, I don't know how many times I went out for an audition and they're like, oh, you're not this, or, oh, well, can you act like this more? You just have to say, okay, that one wasn't for me, and be able to accept that and say, okay, that one wasn't for me. So let me just move on to what will be for me, or what's going to work for me. Everyone's different and you're going to bring something special to the table. Just make sure your special is the best special you have. I guess that's it. And so now, I did print, I did acting, I do the voice work, and now we're we are now doing production work. I am like in love with working behind the camera. I am working, we actually put together a first TV pilot called Ageless, and that's where Ageless Productions has come from. And we, it's beautiful, and it's so wonderful to, and I think learning more about behind the camera now has made me a better actor in front of the camera. So when I am in front of the camera, when I'm doing my voice work, I have a different sense of what the camera's picking up, how it's receiving me. And I think all of the things that I've learned in my past and that I've done in my past, now that I'm able to do some things behind the scenes, and then when I jump back in front of the camera, I have a whole different perspective about how that camera's perceiving me and how people, are accepting what I'm saying and how what I'm saying is coming across. So I think my past is super diverse, and I can tell you that when I tell you I'm in love with the entertainment industry, I am in love with it in all aspects, because there's so many, I equate it to kind of healthcare. Healthcare, they say there's doctors and nurses, and there's a million other people who work in healthcare. This entire entertainment is the same way. It's a business, and there's a whole bunch of people besides the actors, who work in this business to make it work. And when you love the industry, you have to like a lot of different components. Don't let me edit anything, guys. That's not me. I know my limits. I can't sing, and I'm not like an editor and that. But I know what I am really good at. And I surround myself with people who are also good at other things, so that collaboratively we can do amazing things. Right now, like I said, we're doing more production. We do casting. We cast our own. So we do look at talent a lot, to see, we look at the different things that we're doing, the projects that we have coming up, and then trying to work in casting. And so we do quite a bit of auditioning, I guess you could say. And we're still doing that on Zoom. But we're still doing it. So, if I can mention to anybody, use this downtime to keep perfecting your craft. Don't like get stagnant and say, oh, okay, well, we're not doing anything, so I'm just going to sit back. Take this time to, keep yourself fresh, really practice and really look at your skill sets and hone in on them. Do what you can do, so that when you get back in front of the folks that can make a difference for you, you are shining super bright. Don't waste that time. So we do quite a bit of auditioning just for our projects. We're doing film work right now. We're putting together, like I said, a pilot, a 2-hour TV special on our ageless population, which is over 100. Our population of our folks in the country over 100 years old that are still living wonderful lives, that have seen a pandemic years and years ago. Can you imagine that? It's amazing. And then when literally they're talking to me and they're saying, you know, things like, you know, well, we had to wait online. And in our mind, we're going online, meaning, you know, the network. And they're thinking we had to wait online for employment, like to get selected to work. It just blows my mind. You know, it started when I started missing my grandma, and I said, you know, so many of us miss the time that we spent with our grandparents, and our grandparents are so much of a wealth of information for us, and can help us get through so much that we're going through right now even. So anyway, so our projects are important. We're always looking for talent. Our voiceover, we do have a voiceover library, which is candidates who we use to help book some work in voiceover. So we do have our voiceover department. So we're always looking for new voices as well. So just really, I think being on the creative side is just really looking at our projects and then trying to, you know, book work accordingly. First half of our week is typically doing auditions, depending on what other projects we may have. And then the last half of our week is usually on-set filming. The main project that we're doing right now with Ageless, we actually travel to different states to meet these folks and film them. So we have some travel time in between there. On the production side, we really, you know, we do assist other casting companies as well. So we've been helping out, you know, some people will say, you know, can you help us? We've just been known, we were KDMA in the actor studio before that. So we have been known in the industry with casting. So that's kind of traveled over. And, you know, like I said, when you're in the industry, when you're in the business, you know, you work with your clients in whichever way you can to help make it work, things work. So we kind of just look out for each other in that respect. But so we do work with other casting companies and other casting agencies to help them fill and book jobs. We work directly with film. So we do help casting for major films. We've been doing some voiceover work with Xbox. We've been doing voiceover work with a couple gamers, some great comic book folks. So those are more character voices that we look for. We do have a library that we use for special languages or any kind of foreign languages. We do educational voice work as well, and we do that in the different languages. So we work with companies that are looking right now. I actually also contract with companies that do SATs for verbal SATs, so I do that myself, but we're always looking for candidates who can work there on different languages as well. A lot of the foreign SATs that come in different languages, so it's not just it may not seem like I guess like Hollywood work, but it's voice work that is you'd be surprised how much audio is also video work is also in audio. So we work with a lot of that, and also a few toy manufacturers we've been working with on toy products as well. Those are different clients that we have. Fisher Price, actually, we actually work with them as well. One of the other things that we do a lot with is Kidz Bop. Kidz Bop is it's an amazing opportunity to me for children who are looking. You do have to be a triple threat, so I know it's hard. You know, you do need to be able to sing and dance and act. And it's not even so much of the acting as it is the personality. And that's where, when I was speaking about being the best you can be, that's where that comes in. Because, you know, a lot of people can sing and a lot of people can dance. But to put it all together and then have a great you to perform those things, that's just like what we really look for. We've been working with Kidz Bop for many years now, and it is a wonderful opportunity. It's a big opportunity because you do have to go to California. You have to live in California with the contract. So it is a major commitment, but if this is something that's in your heart and what you've been dreaming of and what you want to do, that's a major opportunity for you. And so we do look very hard. We have 2 clinics a year, but we are constantly always looking for that triple threat. And like I said, I can't stress enough, you can have that singing ability, just be able to roar your voice, and you can have that awesome dancing thing. But if you don't have that personality and that that desire and that passion, then those other 2 components won't help you. So it's so super important. I don't know, and I don't think you can train for that personality that I'm talking about. That's in you. That's something that this business brings out of you. So that's something that only, you got this, you know what I mean? It's like, I got this, I can't teach you that part. You have to be able to overcome in this business. And if one no sends you away, then you're not in it. And you're gonna get that, and you have to be able to, and I tell you, you're gonna, get that no, you're gonna get, I'm sorry, you're gonna get not this time. But when your heart is in it and you're doing the right thing and you're working hard at perfecting your craft and that you're doing what you're supposed to do, it will happen. The way it won't happen is if you quit. The way it will happen is if you continue to persevere and knowing and being better at what you do, and then being yourself at doing it. That's just it. I hope I say this right, but it's really something that you are. It's when someone approaches me, not like, hi, I'm like, have so much energy. It's like, okay, that's good. I'm glad. But I hope that, when I see you, when I see someone on the street even, and they're just like kind of beaming, or they like walk in the office and they're sitting in the office and they're just beaming. They don't even have to say anything. It's not something that you have to say, or, you have to have this big old fat smile on your face. It's not any one thing. Unfortunately, this is one industry that doesn't have a rule book, right? So it's not like a one thing, like, oh, I always have to be smiling and always have to be, but you have to be true. And sometimes I see someone and I'm like, oh my gosh, all I see is this cool heart and this soul and this person who's just trying, to do what it is to do. And, some people say, I can't believe that person got the job, or I can't believe they look like that and they got in. It's all of it. It's not, you could be a beauty queen and not get in, or you could be a amazing dancer and not get in. It's all of it. You have to remember, this is a business and it is about humans, although sometimes we wonder how good we are to each other. But when you have a pure good soul and you're really looking at this for the right reasons, and you're really in this because you love it, you're gonna shine, and you're gonna separate yourself from somebody else because of that. And that's really what you look for, just from the jump street. Some people, like the mom, might say, oh, they're really good once they warm up. Then that's really kind of acting like you're good at it. That's when it's like, it's not really there yet. Not that it can't be, but it's maybe not quite there yet. When you have someone who can walk up to you and talk to you, whether it's an adult or a child, and can, express what they want and their passion, then it's like, it's there. If it's going to take you 20 minutes to finally find the courage to talk to me, it's not quite there yet. You're not maybe quite sure. So it's either there and you're ready, or not. And it doesn't mean if it's not quite there, it can't be nurtured to get there. It just means you're maybe not quite there. You don't have to push it. You don't have to force it. You don't have to, do anything outside of what you would normally say or feel or do. It's just there. And you know what, you can see that. And anybody, and normally people would say, what do they say? Like, they'll look at you and say, oh, you know, you look so bubbly and so happy and so this and so that. And that's great. And you just want to kind of walk around with that aura. It's just something when you know you're in the right place is good, you know? And if you're like in a place where you're surrounded by the folks that can work with, that you want to work with, you know, especially like if you're at, you know, when you're at, you know, CMTC, if you're not in like euphoria, like, oh, then you know, you're not ready because you're surrounded by everything that you want to be with, and the kind of things that you should be like in, you know, I'm that way because I'm around you guys and I'm around everybody else in the industry. It's like, yay, because we're always in our small niches. And then when you get together with other people in the niche, you're like, ooh, you're like trying to listen and, you know, gather information from each other and learn from each other. And it's amazing. I love it, you know? So you should always want to be that way. I don't know if I think when you're in a group like that, you should be on fire, like with excitement. I am looking for young kids that can sing, dance, and have a fabulous personality. So I won't even say act, although acting is a cool thing, but that has that fabulous personality. So I am looking for that younger group, and they really need to be between the ages of, like, I don't know if you want to tell me that, but like that 8, 9 to maybe 12, maybe 13, just depending. So I'm always looking for that. I am looking for young adult and adult actors. I think those are, you know, some really good things. When I look at voice work, I don't necessarily look at singers, but I would be looking at good singers that can do the triple threat kind of thing. And then just good voices. I'm always looking for good voices. So yeah, and that's why I'm saying to anyone, when you're preparing for this, you know, have your focus, but also be open to something else that someone else might see in you that maybe you didn't see in yourself, or maybe you saw it in yourself, but you weren't thinking that it was something that should be nurtured. You know, some of us have been in the business a really long time, and so we see some things that maybe you don't see. And I think it's important to have that open space in your head to be able to welcome maybe a new avenue, maybe something a little bit different than you thought, but something in the business all the same that would truly be, you know, something that'll make you sparkle. So yeah, so that's what I'm looking for. You know, I think really just prepare on where you're focused right now. And you know, my career has been really diverse, and so I say to you, where you're honing in on right now. If you're really right now thinking, I want to be an actor, so you've signed up for all the acting side of things, then make sure you're ready for that. You know, keep your skills sharp, you know, maybe take a class while this is in a downtime, even if it's an online class or something like that. If you've taken a class already, you know, maybe revisit what you've learned in that class, and then, you know, use your YouTube, get out your camera, you know, film yourself, you know, see what you look like on camera, see what things that you need to do. We're all very have the technology now to do this kind of stuff. So, you know, look at the mirror and be like, make those faces and like, ooh, that doesn't look so good when I do that, you know, or whatever. But really get yourself focused and ready for whatever little avenue you've put yourself on at CMTC, so you're ready for it. And then, you know, kind of make sure that you are open to other things, because maybe, you know, you might say, oh, I'm just using this example, I'm really going to be great at print, I'm going to just do print, and I'm going to be on the print side and do everything. But maybe there's an agent out there that sees you and says, wow, they might be a good actor, you know, or that, you know, maybe an agent out there might say, wow, you know, really good in print, but I think I like that person for something else, you know. So make sure that you really kind of look at the business as a business and the different avenues, that there's so much that you have to offer. And, you know, there's so many different categories at CMTC. So don't like just narrow yourself into one thing. I can only do one thing. Now, you know, maybe if you're a singer and that's all you want to do and you don't want to focus on acting, I get that. But you also want to say, what part do I want to play in this business? You know, so if it's just to sing, you know, then that might be all you want to do. But I'm just saying, keep your mind open, because there's a lot of different agents at CMTC. So you might find yourself, you know, we may be looking at you for something a little bit different than what your mindset was. And then just stay open to that is all I'm thinking. I know I've seen a couple people at CMTC before that, you know, were really into one particular thing, but not necessarily what I was looking at them for. I guess my one thing I really want to say is that I just want people to really have some focus on where you want to go, and to be able to voice that is really important. To be able to say, when someone says, you know, oh, you know, what do you want to do in this business? Oh, I'm not sure. That it's really hard to swallow that part when you're not sure. So really have that focus as to what you want to do. And also just to be really the best person. I know it kind of sounds cheesy or like kind of cliche, but just to be really good at being you. I still feel like half the time I see people that are trying to be others, or someone who's already in the industry, you know, oh, someone would say I look like this, or, you know, they're trying to look like, you know, that. And those people already exist. They're already in our community. They're already out there. We don't need another one unless you want to play their double. You know, then we don't need another one, but we need new people who are genuine, who are really real and true, who are not, you know, I'm not looking for the showboat or whatever. I'm just looking for the good person. So I guess if you can bring anything to the table, and sometimes, and I know this is gonna sound weird, sometimes you may not see, like, you know, a lot of talent in somebody, or somebody who hasn't had a lot of work experience, or they haven't had any training, but you see something in them, and then you bring them into the industry and they flourish, you know, just from that opportunity. It's just because of who they are. And if I can tell you anything, you know, if you're not sure, figure out who you are during this time that you're trying to battle COVID, and figure out when we're going to get back into the swing of it. Use this time to figure out who I am, what I want to do in this industry, or just in life in general, and feel good about that, because that's just going to shine right through. You know, when you don't have that, you know, oh, I wonder if this, I don't think I'm this or I'm that. You got to accept who you are and how you're perfectly made, and then put the best part of that out there to each and every person that you meet at CMTC, and you will be successful.